Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how I made this skirt. This is going to be a 2-in-1, as I'm going to show you how to make the long one as well as the short one that was inspired by Pinterest. As most of you know, I'm having a challenge with my YouTube channel, and just make sure you like this video. It will help a lot to bring my channel back to life. So let's get started. So the materials that you will need for this project are a measuring tape, yarn of any choice. I'll be using 2 strands of acrylic yarn, which is fingering weight yarn, which is called robin, and I'll be using 2 strands for the bikini bottom. And then I'll also need a darning needle to weave in the ends and a pair of scissors. The hook that I'll be using is a 2.75mm crochet hook. And then I'll also need an elastic strand to go around the edges of my bikini bottom to make it stretchy. So let's begin. So the main measurement that you need for this bikini bottom is your hip measurement, because at the end of the day this bikini bottom has to be able to pass through your hips in order to even be worn. So go ahead and get your hip measurement and note it down. We shall need it later on. So we are going to start off with a slip knot, and we are going to make a chain of 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So after your 12 chains, you're going to go into the 3rd chain from the hook. So 1, 2, and into the 3rd we are going to place 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet into the next chain, and continue to double crochet into each and every chain. This applies to all sizes because we don't want that unsightly bulge in between the legs. So whatever size you are, just go ahead and do this, because we shall cater for the extra thickness when we are working on the edging of the bikini bottom. So I'm working my very last double crochet into the last chain, and you should have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11, because the chain 2 counts as a stitch. So next we are going to chain 3, and that counts as a double crochet, and then you're going to go into the next stitch with a double crochet into the next stitch, and continue to double crochet into each and every stitch for a total of 11 double crochets when you're counting the chain 3 as a stitch. So row 2 should have the same exact number of stitches as row 1. Alright, so we are done with this. This is how row 2 looks like. Now we are going to row 3. You're going to chain 3, turn your work, and you're going to double crochet into each and every stitch across. So we are going to repeat row 2 for a total of 6 rows altogether. This is row 3, so we are going to continue that until we have a total of 6 rows. So make sure all your rows have the same exact number of stitches. So we finished our 6th row, and this is how your work should look like. Now we're going to start creating the coverage for the front side of our bikini bottom, and to do that you're going to chain 3, turn your work, and into that same exact stitch here we're going to place another double crochet. So that means the very first stitch has gotten 2 double crochets, and then you're going to continue to place 1 double crochet into each of the next stitches until you reach the second last stitch. So this is my second last stitch, and the last stitch, which is the chain 3, you're going to go on top of the chain 3 and place a total of 2 double crochets. So that means we have increased at the beginning of our row and at the end of the row, and therefore our project is going to start widening and creating that V shape to create the coverage for our front side of the bikini bottom. So you're going to chain 3 and you're going to repeat row 7. So go into the very first stitch, which is this one that's attached to the chain 3, and place a double crochet, and then 1 double crochet into each of the next stitches until the second last stitch. So this is my second last stitch, and into the last stitch, which is the chain 3, you're going to go on top of the chain 3 and place 2 double crochets like that. So if you can notice, our bikini bottom has already started shaping, and we are going to repeat this for total number of rows that you need for your size. I'll be leaving all the sizes on the screen, so go ahead and make a total number of those increased rows. So far I have 3, and since I'm demonstrating for a size medium, I want a total of 13 rows altogether, so that I can have for size medium. So just look at the screen and know how many increased rows that you have to make for your bikini bottom, and I'll be back to show you what to do next after that. So I'm working on my very last row of the front coverage of our bikini bottom, and this is row 13. So just make sure you have the number of rows that you need for your size, and this is still an increased row that starts with 2 double crochets at the beginning and 2 double crochets at the end. So I'm placing 2 double crochets at the end of my row into the very last stitch, and this is how my work looks like. Ignore this thread. This is how the work looks like, right from the non-increased rows until the increased rows. So I have a total of 13 rows altogether. After your 13th row, you're going to leave a very long strand of yarn before we start working on the back coverage of our bikini bottom. Just leave just enough yarn to help us with the joining onto the back extension of our bikini bottom. Just leave a long strand and then you cut your yarn here. Now we're going to work on the back coverage of our bikini bottom. Okay, so you're going to turn your work to the back side, which is this side that's still unworked, and you're going to attach your yarn. Make a slip knot and attach it into the very first stitch, and you're going to chain 3 and we are going to start increasing straight away. So into the same stitch you're going to place a double crochet, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and continue to place only 1 double crochet into each and every stitch until the second last stitch. So I'm on the second last stitch, and into the last you're going to place 2 double crochets like that, and you're going to continue to do this until you have the number of rows that you need for your size. Check the screen in order to know how many rows to do for your particular size. So we're just going ahead to repeat the increased rows just like we did for the front part until we get the number of rows that we need for the back side of the bikini bottom. So I did a total of 23 rows for mine, since I'm demonstrating for a size medium. So I have my 23 rows. So you're going to leave a very long strand that we are going to be using to attach onto the front side of our bikini bottom. Alright, so after working on both sides, you have something that looks like this. You have the middle section, then the front coverage, and then the back coverage. So we have this chain that we left behind here. It's still attached to our ball of yarn. And then we also have this chain that's attached to the front coverage of our bikini bottom. So the next thing that you're going to do is to get your measuring tape, and then you measure the top of the front panel. Make sure you stretch out this front panel to see the full length. It's about 10 inches when fully stretched. Then you also measure the back panel and stretch it out. This is about 17 inches. So 17 inches plus 10 inches, which is 27 inches in total, and we want a total of 40 inches. So 40 inches minus the 27, which is 13 inches, divide by 2, which is 7.5. So you're going to make a chain of 7.5 on both ends so that we can have a total of 40 inches all the way around the waistline. So I'm going to just put my hook through here. We want a chain of 7.5. So So I have a total of 7.5 inches. You can see that. And then you're going to attach onto the back panel with a slip stitch. So I've done a total of 30 chains all together here. So I'm going to just put my hook through this side and do the same exact thing. Just make a chain of 30 or a chain of 7.5 inches or whatever number that you need to get to your hip measurement. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have my 30 chains, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the very first stitch of the front panel. And at this point you have your bikini bottom in rounds. So after this I'm going to chain 1 and then cut my yarn, and I'll just continue to work with the yarn that I left on this side. So this will be dealt with later on, but this is what we have for now. So we're going to start working in rounds, going all the way around the top of the bikini bottom. So just get your measuring tape and make sure when you stretch from this point to the other point, it's half of your hip measurement. So we have our 0 here. We are making sure that this can stretch to 20 inches so that it can pass through our hips and fit us perfectly well. So you can see that we're at 20, from 0 to 20. So after that, you're going to get this loop that you left behind at the back and chain 3. Now we are going to go all the way around our bikini bottom with 1 double crochet into each and every stitch and into each and every chain all the way around until we come back to this point. Just make sure you place one double crochet into each and every stitch all the way around until we get back to the beginning of our round. So I've made it all the way around, placing 1 double crochet into each and every stitch and each and every chain. So after your last double crochet, you're going to slip stitch into the very first chain 3 on top of the very first chain 3 that you made for the round, and this is how your work will look like. Alright, so I skipped this part. You're going to go into each and every row with 2 single crochets into each and every row all the way around your leg hole, and then when it comes to this part, you will place 1 single crochet into each and every stitch along the upper part of the leg hole, and you'll form something that looks like this. You're going to do that on both sides of the bikini bottom, this side and this side. And then after your first round at the top of the bikini bottom, you're going to chain 3 and then place 1 double crochet into each and every stitch all the way around. We want a total of 3 rows of double crochets, 3 rounds on top of the bikini bottom, and those rounds are going to be made of double crochet stitches all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and make this one, which is the second, and then we make another one which will be the third, and then I'll come back to show you what to do next. After your 3 rows of double crochets, you're going to have something that looks like this. So when you try on your bikini bottom, it will still be loose. Don't worry about that, we shall deal with that later on. So I'm going to chain 1 and cut my yarn, and at this point I'm going to start using 1 strand of yarn. I'm going to stop using the double strand because now I want the mesh to be a little bit thinner. I want it to be on the thinner side. So you're going to get your 1 strand of yarn and make a slip knot and attach it at any point. So for me, I'm going to attach in the middle section at the back, any stitch around there, but I'll go into the front loop of the stitch, and then I'll attach my yarn. After attaching your yarn, you're going to chain 19 and after your chain of 19, you're going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 6, and into the 7th you're going to place a single crochet, and then chain 19, and then you skip 6 stitches. 1 2 3 4 5 6, and into the 7th, into the front loop, you make a single crochet, and you're going to repeat this all the way around. This is the mesh that's going to cover our skirt all the way down to the bottom of the skirt. So chain 19, skip 6 stitches, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and into the 7th place a single crochet in the front loop. So repeat that all the way around. I'll meet you back towards the end of your round. So this is round 1 of the mesh, and this is what it looks like. So I'm almost making it all the way around. I have a few stitches left. So chain 19, skip 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and into the 7th in the front loop make a single crochet, and then you're going to chain, chain 19, 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19. So I had around 3 to 4 stitches in between before I made it around to the very first chain 19 that I did. So after chaining this 19, I'm going to count to the, so you're going to count to the 10th chain on this chain 19, because it's the middle chain. So we have 1 2 3 4. So in the 10th chain, you're going to place a single crochet there, and then chain 19, and then you're going to count to the 10th chain and place a single crochet, and repeat that all the way around. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. So you're going to have your chain looking something like this, and you can see it's creating the diamond shape that we want. And as the work keeps building, these will become more definite. So you're going to go all the way around, and when it comes to the end, don't forget, you just place a single crochet, then chain 19, then single crochet into the next, all the way around, and keep working your way around until the skirt gets longer. So I've done a total of 7 rounds all together for the mesh part. And after my 7th round, you're going to chain 1 and cut your yarn. You're going to go ahead and make as many rounds as you need for the length of the mesh part that you need for your bikini bottom. And then we are going to create these little tassels that are going to be attached on these loops at the base of the bikini bottom. So I'm going to just make some strands, run around my hand, and then I'll cut So let's see what we have here. So I just rolled them around my elbow and then into my fingers. Then I'm going to fold that into half and still cut. You're going to decide how long you want your tassels to be, and then fold them over and cut. So for me, I want my tassels to be a little bit on the shorter side, so they're not so long. And I'll get 4 at a go, 4 strands, and then put through this loop, and then pull, and then make a knot at the end there. So this is how my tassel looks like, and you're going to go ahead and make a tassel at every loop around the bikini bottom, like that. And I'm going to go all the way around, and I'll show you how my bikini bottom will look like after I go all the way around. So this is what you're going to have after attaching your tassels onto each and every point. I'll cut this. But this is basically it. This is how your bikini bottom is going to look like. Now we're going to work around the waistband in order to bring it in, and I've already tied my elastic strand. It's a bit less than the actual measurement around the bikini bottom. This is because I want my bikini bottom to come in a bit to create a better fitting around the waistline. So I have my elastic strand. Now I'm going to go back to my 2 strands of yarn that I was using for the main body of the bikini bottom. And then you're going to attach it at any point of the top of your bikini bottom, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to attach it at any point. Just pick one stitch where to attach your yarn. And then we are going to make single crochet all the way around, but weaving in the elastic strand into the waistband. So just go all the way around, placing 1 single crochet into each and every stitch while weaving in the elastic strand. Should make sure the length of the elastic strand is comfortable for you. It's not too tight and neither is it too loose. So go all the way around. You can see this. Go all the way around your work, weaving in this elastic strand, and I'll meet you back at the beginning of your round, which is here. Okay, so after your last stitch, you're going to place a slip stitch into the very first single crochet that you did for your round, and you'll chain 1 and cut your yarn. And then at this point you're going to weave in these ends, or just tie a knot from the yarn you just cut and the yarn that you attached. and then you're going to cut, and that's basically it. You have your skirt ready. This is how your project will look like, and you can see after attaching the elastic strand in the waist, we now have an elastic bikini bottom on the inside, and then this is just more like an extra layering onto the top of the bikini bottom, and this is how it looks like at the back. I'm going to go ahead and weave in all my ends, and my project is pretty much done. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and give this video a thumbs up as a way to support my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.